steady financial markets here in Europe this morning, with the UK's FTSE 100 index currently just up around about 5 points. The Euro Stoxx 50 index higher by around about 12 points. The DAX in Germany currently up around about 31 points, outperforming all other European indices. When it comes to US stock futures, the Dow Jones Industrial Average front month futures contract is currently up about 48 points. The S&P 500 contract is currently up around about 4.25 points. Yesterday, US markets were closed to observe Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but they're open today. Across other asset classes, FX currency pairs are pretty much stable. US dollar easing somewhat, the euro tracking a little higher, and the yen weaker. And when it comes to the core government bond space, UK gilts and German bonds are lower. Gold is also down around about $2.50. Oil prices are somewhat steady. Good morning, I'm Ishaq, Siddiqi, and welcome to your daily market buying. And I'm going to give you guys a quick idea of what's going on across the world today. So we didn't have a US session overnight. Like I said, Wall Street was closed to observe Martin Luther King holiday, and we had a session in Asia which pretty much gave us direction here in Europe. Now, overnight in Asia, we had the Chinese central bank pump liquidity into the money market in an attempt to stimulate and ease conditions in the interbank lending rates area. Interbank lending rates in China have actually eased on the back of that. That's really just to make conditions a bit more easier before the Chinese New Year, in which many consumers go out traveling and need to take cash out. So the Chinese central bank essentially wants Chinese banks to be in a stable situation before the Chinese New Year, and that's been relatively helpful. It obviously shows support by the Chinese central bank to prevent Chinese growth from falling further. Yesterday we had GDP numbers out from China that showed a bit of an easing, and that rattled some investors as it indicated that China's growth is going to be slowing down this year. So a sign or a move by the Chinese central bank as such to stimulate the money market area would go as far as indicating that the central bank is there to prevent any sort of further declines or deterioration in economic growth. Now, going on to how that helped European shares this morning, we are higher across the board, just about. We are somewhat cautious with a lot of the gains being tempered by some of the poor earnings out from Europe this morning. We have to remember we've had a wealth of earnings from blue chips today. Earnings season is in full swing. We've had mostly the defensive sector reporting their numbers today, the likes of SAB Miller, the beverage company, Unilever, listed in the UK and also in the Netherlands. We also had numbers out from Alstom, who reported a profit warning, and at the same time we've had numbers out from the likes of Roche and other defensive companies. A lot of people now feel that given last year's stock market multiple expansion, We've seen a lot of companies now sitting on expensive valuations, very much unjustifiable, with forward PEs looking very lofty and stretched. So now it's time to take profits because earnings are clearly not matching up with the valuations that a lot of these companies are standing on, particularly the defensive companies, those companies from the pharmaceutical, food and beverage and tobacco sectors. So that's the main focus in Europe today. We do have the German ZEW survey. That's going to be a big indicator to look out for. And at the same time, we also have to bear in mind that we do have the UK CBI industrial trends data, and also the IMF will be coming out with their adjusted growth forecasts for the globe, and the UK economy is set to get an upgrade on that side. Later on in the session, the US, like I said, is going to be opening up after a day's rest, and we have numbers from some US companies to look out for, the likes of Johnson & Johnson, IBM after the close, Texas Instruments and Verizon, the big telecom company. That is all for your daily market buy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.